Thank you so much for joining me today, Laura.
Thanks for being here, Danny.
I want to start with this. Why have you dedicated your career to telling stories about a topic that so many in the public have already decided is inevitable, that the climate will change, that we cannot stop it, and that adaptation is useless?
That's a great question. I think, one, because I love being outside, and that is an outside story. It is a story that needs to be told from the ground up. It needs to be told when you're watching rivers and wildlife and being in community. And I really think that, no matter what happens, in my dream world, humans get their act together and we decide to drastically cut our greenhouse gas emissions. But no matter what happens, this world, and specifically this beautiful state where we live, is worth fighting for and worth loving and worth being joyful in and worried about and educated about, no matter sort of what climate state it's in.
You've spent a lot of your life witnessing the changes of climate. You've written a book about it, At the Precipice. You've just mentioned that it's even more relevant now, witnessing what climate change has done to New Mexico. What's changed? What's stayed the same?
Yeah, the impacts of climate change in our state over the last 20, 30 years that I've personally witnessed, but really since the 1970s when we're talking about the big arc of climate change. Our rivers have less water in them. Our forests are dried out and insect infested, and in some places burned down. Our groundwater supplies have dwindled because we have been poor caretakers of our groundwater supplies. We've seen species shift and change and disappear. We've seen public health impacts. We've seen aridity. There have been so many impacts, and the thing that hasn't changed is there is almost no political action on climate change. Even the most well-intentioned politicians who understand that the climate is changing and pledge climate action during campaigns have done literally nothing to address climate change in New Mexico and the United States.
You hold on to a lot of grief and a lot of anger and a lot of hope. There's a mental health aspect to climate coverage that isn't very well respected, maybe in the journalism industry, maybe isn't very well respected in our society as something to hold on to. A lot of our focus is on growth, on eternal youth, on consumption, not on witnessing, listening, crying. What advice do you have about grief and anger?
Yeah, so I think as a reporter, but also just like as a person, as a mother, as a friend, as a community member, grief is a part of our full spectrum of daily emotions. And the more we embrace grief over what we've done to our planet and our landscapes and the wildlife species we share this planet with and to one another, the more we can actually come to terms with being better humans, being more respectful people and members of the community, including how we treat the more than human community. And I think there have been times in my career as a reporter where probably early on I was really hesitant to be honest about the emotions I was having over things like covering the Rio Grande drying or witnessing forest changes or even witnessing the ways that we treat one another as humans. And once I stopped being worried what people would think about me if I showed any sort of vulnerability or emotion, I feel like my reporting became better and deeper and truer. And the feedback I heard from audiences and people who either read books or saw things on this program, people needed to hear some of that stuff, and the ways in which audience members have responded has made me know that being vulnerable as a reporter is the right thing to do.
You may have felt like you were limiting yourself earlier in your career, but you have never shied away from colonization, violence, gendered experience of climate change. I wanted to point to something you wrote in a 2009 meditation on the West Mesa murders, where you wrote, "We as a society are often indifferent to the brutality suffered by women and by landscapes, particularly the ones that don't fit our moral or aesthetic ideals, the people and the places out on the margins." What do these words for you mean? What do these words mean to you 15 years later?
Yeah, gosh, that's a hard one to hear, because it makes me really angry that our community and our society here never cared about those women enough to solve those murders. We've never properly grieved their deaths, their murders, and supported their families after such a brutal episode of our city's history. So it makes me really angry to think all these years later, there's still been no justice for those murders.
It's been a through line of injustice in your career. The climate story, while it's often framed as science journalism, is often a story of injustice, whether to non-human places or animals or ecosystems and beings, or very structurally racist or structurally misogynistic spaces. What message do you have for people, young people and others who desperately want this different world but don't feel empowered in this moment? What would you say to them?
Yeah. So there are really great things happening in New Mexico when it comes to youth activism. Just throughout my career, I've seen that build. The youth voices around climate action really make me feel proud and happy and excited. And I feel like that young people are facing these incredible challenges and yet are still advocating for a better world, trying to protect spaces and communities and places. And I think the message that I actually have is for people who look like me. Older white people need to start asking what young people need from them.
In the generational divide, there's often denigration, right, from older generations that this generation is asking for too much or is too entitled to something. What do older generations owe young people when it comes to the climate?
Yeah, I mean, older generations, we have taken the very best that this beautiful planet had to offer and did not caretake it and did not show landscapes in the more than human world and future generations compassion and grace and joyfulness. And so, yeah, I mean, as good as your intentions might be, I think my intentions have been really good over my 50 years, but I know that I have been a part of the taking. And we owe young people and the planet and the more than human world, we owe them everything.
I want you to ask in this moment of reflection that we have, what was the theme? What did it end up always being about in the end?
That's a good question. I think even when I was really mad about something, like, for example, the military's contamination of groundwater in our state with PFAS, or rampant oil and gas development, even when I was really mad about something or shocked and enraged, I like to think that that was coming from a place of deep gratitude and deep love for New Mexico and the communities here and the landscapes here. This is not where I was born. This is my chosen home. And I love New Mexico, and I feel a great deal of responsibility to New Mexico. So I think I like to imagine that all of my reporting has come from a place of love and gratitude.
You just did a series that was basically a series of love letters to an adapting climate, featuring a lot of people doing amazing work in this space. What were some of the lessons that you would want people to take away in engendering their own love?
Yeah, I know I keep repeating this, but it had a huge impact on me. Paula Garcia with the New Mexico Acequia Association opened the 2022 Congreso. This is after the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon fire. This is when, the forests have utterly changed. People's lives have been changed and destroyed, and there was so much confusion and anger and worry and anxiety. And Paula opened that Congreso saying, the mountains have changed, but these are still our beloved landscapes. And I think that lesson applies to everyone, everywhere. The climate is changing, the impacts are rampant. There's a lot of things to be concerned about, but this is our place. We love it. We care for it. And I think that is something that's had a huge impact on me personally, hearing her and seeing the work that she does every day.
I want to end here with some words of Mary Oliver from her poem, Don't Hesitate. We are not wise, we are not often kind, and much can never be redeemed. Still, life has some possibility left. Perhaps this is a way of fighting back that sometimes something happens better than all the riches or the power in the world. I want to ask, what's next for you? What whole joys are you looking forward to?
Well, I love Mary Oliver, so thanks for reading that. I have some writing projects that I'm really excited to get back to. I've loved working in television. This program has been a gift. And there are certainly lots of things that we can do with video and especially drone footage and really bringing audiences to places. But for me personally, I am very excited to be out in the world again with a notebook and a pen instead of cameras and lights, and sort of getting back to the intimacy of writing and reporting in the way that I have traditionally done my reporting outside of TV. So I have a lot of projects that I'm super excited about.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you, Danny. I'm so proud of the work that you're doing and so thankful for your voice and your presence in our state. So thanks.